conversation. Bettina, I think the last point you just made is a great way to end today. In your talks, especially about Herodotus, I almost idolize
I can
him.
say it again. So
Yes, say it again, please. Yes,
so
yes,
Herodotus is often called the father of history because
yes.
he said this is his historia. This is a history, and history means an inquiry, and
Mm,
that's all we're doing as
yes,
historians,
yes,
as academics trying
yes,
to bridge the modern world and the past. We're inquiring into the ancient world, and that's what we've been doing. That is, we've
mhm,
been asking questions, and
yes,
when we ask questions, then um, we can better find a focus in our research when we ask
yes,
a question, right?
yes,
We have to have a question. We have to be curious, because if we're
yes,
not curious, we can't specify a location, a place, a time, a person that we can look into. And
yes,
when I was talking about touching the past, that was my passion. Walking in a land that I know people have played music in, and people have had conversations, and um, was philosophy in various forms of that was
mhm,
discussed, and people ate food, and people had a good time drinking and writing and discussing things in certain places around the world.
yes,
To touch that spot and play music using musical notations that the ancient Greeks had, using a replica lyre, and being
yes,
surrounded by people who want to hear this and want to discuss, that's the closest I can come to being in that place.
yes.
And um, and why do I even want to do that? Why is it so important for me to be in an ancient space? Is it because I'm not happy? Of course, I it's that's not it. I just want to connect myself to humanity, and humankind had been trading ideas,
Yes.
trading um, music, trading food from time immemorial.
Mhm.
And that's really, I think, what it's all about. When we talk about classics, we're
Yes.
talking about the ancient Mediterranean. We're talking about the trade, the sea, the ocean,
Mm.
and the people on those boats, the people,
Yes.
if you can picture them handing each other goods. Oh, here it is. Oh, wow. And picking it up, going, what is this? This is magnificent. Whatever it
Yes.
is, textiles. And then they'll copy it. And they will then create something like it, but then it becomes their own creation.
Yes.
It's the same thing with an instrument. Can you imagine somebody landing first with with a lyre, and they look at it and they go, what is this? My gosh, what if I make it bigger and make it with my own materials from around here? And so it becomes their own. And
Yes.
so we borrow, we share,
Share.
and we create.
Yes. Yes. I mean, what a phenomenal way to end. Like that's what this is all about. That sharing of knowledge and wisdom. I see it in the fiber arts of I as I have been looking at spinning yarn, weaving, and all of those things through ancient times. The sharing, you can see what was done in Greece was also done in Egypt. Like you can just kind of see the sharing and building upon. And then Shayna talked about how art may have started in this part in Africa, but it didn't just stay there. They were sharing, and it continued to evolve into ancient Greece. And when she comes back on June 15th, she will talk about it in ancient Rome. And that is the concept we have to come to with this type of learning. And I love how you broke down it's just that history means inquiry, and Herodotus is known the father of history. He really is our example on how we do this because he left Greece and traveled to come face to face, kind of like what you said. When you pick up an instrument and you try to emulate the music, it's you traveling out of your modern world or out of your world, place in the world to this other world to learn more about that human experience and how it connects to your human experience. And classics is such a unique field, or the classical tradition is such a unique field, because it really does invite us to travel to it and to learn from it and then to exchange our ideas. And when we talk about the great conversation, it's not a conversation where the West has a better conversation than Africa or Asia. It's talking about an all encompassing uh, conversation that embraces all of us, and it has spanned all of our heritages, all our time periods, and we've built upon one another. And each author in the classical tradition is, it's not that they're trying to elevate their voice; they were in conversation with classics and began to write their modern stories because they had a conversation with Aristotle, or they had a conversation with Plato. When I think about Martin Luther King in jail, he was having a conversation with the canon to help him get through a really lonely time in his life. This is the tradition. This is the tradition. Another thing you made me think of when you talked about how history is, as historians, as academics, is a journey of inquiry to learn more, to ask questions. It made me think of the philosopher Hans George Gadamer, who wrote his seminal piece called "Truth and Method." And the method to get to the truth was inquiry.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Asking those, he has like a large part of of that book is about questions, the
Question.
importance of asking questions.
Hmm.
That inquiry process, it really connects to what Chris Perrin was talking about in the school leaders panel. How can we bring more listening, inquiry, civil discourse into our schools? How do we train teachers and students to be like Herodotus?
Yes, because it's not about us lecturing. I prepared 80 slides. I just want you to know because I mean I was ready for any questions if anybody
Yes,
wanted like what did that look like? I'll go,
yes,
okay, here's my PowerPoint. But I'm always much more interested in the Q&A portion. So I feel like
yes,
I'll just talk a little bit and then the inquiry, the question
yes,
is what's going to lead me to something. And if someone wants to
yes,
see a particular iconography, I have that in my 80 slides.
yep,
And
yep,
that's a conversation for a later time. And you all
yes.
are welcome to email me and ask questions. I will eventually reply. I promise, even if it takes 3 months later or what have you. I do reply eventually.
Yes, you do. And you're going to be with us on June 15th to
Oh yes.
continue
Oh
this
yes.
inquiry. Like, if as we close out, please come prepared on June 15th for
Oh yeah.
conversation, right? For inquiry, to just talk through it. And I, again, I'm going back to Hans George Gadamer, truth and method, that we want to get to the truth, and the method to get there is questioning, is inquiry.
Yeah.
It's nothing is dogmatic like people would want the classical tradition to be. We all bring our human experience into this realm, and we ask the questions, and we learn from the ancients so that we learn more about ourselves and how we're all connected.
It's all weaving together, right? Each
All
thread.
woven together. It's a
Right.
human tapestry.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, that is the end of a very long day, but I think it was beautiful. And to all of you all who are listening, who will watch this video later, I want to thank you for supporting by listening, by learning, by gleaning. And the videos, this video, the closing video, will be uploaded soon. All the videos are going up slowly but surely, as you can see what we experienced today. But we also hope you will join us in the flesh on on the beautiful campus of Catholic University on June 15th, starting at 10 a.m. We'll start the day off with a memorial service to classicists who have really taught, who have done this tradition in a way to open it up to everyone through inquiry, through being more inclusive and welcoming to all people. And we're going to start off with that. Angel Parham will do the first talk, the beginning. We'll have speakers all day, and then we'll end with a jazz concert by Ruth Naomi Floyd, who has taken the speeches of Frederick Douglass and turned them into original jazz compositions. And he is important because he is an example of someone bringing their life in conversation with the tradition. And that experience made him one of the greatest orators of all time that really played a part in the liberation of Black people. So she will share her knowledge and scholarship with us. And my hope is that by the end of all of this, when that event is over in June, that it will not be the end, but it'll be the beginning of a beautiful community that loves this tradition. So you all, thank you so much,
Yeah.
and I'll see you all in June. Thank you so much, everyone. We're done.